This is the Tesla 1 month overview reading for the month of November 2023. It's currently September 21st, 2023, 12:09 p.m. Eastern Time. Tesla at the time of this reading is $257.55 USD, and the shuffle file that we're about to play for the November reading was created on September 3rd, 2023 at 3:12 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here. So we're going to get into not only the overall general direction, the highs and the lows, and determining the dates of those, as well as the best trades that we see as we progress through this reading. Before we do that, let's just make sure people are aware of the rule of karma, which is the whole purpose of the channel. The rule of karma, what we're asking is that people who are profiting from this information we're giving out freely here, that they take 5% of the profits that they make and then donate it forward to one of these charities here on a resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, and 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel, saying thank you, and also that's what supports the channel. It leaves you with 90% of the money left over. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you're setting yourself up to manifest wealth. The universe considers you an angel investor of the channel, and it's going to send it back to you tenfold through this channel, my friends. Before we go further though, let's also take a look and see how we did in how we're doing in September thus far. All right, so we had a high on the 11th, and it looks like we had a closing closing high on the 11th. We had an intraday high on the 12th, but a closing high on the, well, okay, so pretty close. You could say we were off by a day there, really. And then we had this pretty sharp drop on the 12th, move to the upside on the 14th, pop and drop on the 15th, and then a sharp drop on the 18th, another prominent crest on the 20th, and what should be the lowest low here on the 21st. So it didn't end up being a lowest low, but it's probably going to come close to a lowest low here. There's also a possibility of another one here at the end of the month, but my sense is that this is pretty accurate. The first day of the month, we had this really sharp drop, brief peak that was easily missed, and then there was kind of like caution advised, prominent trough on the 7th. Yeah, this is looking really accurate, guys. And then when we look at the 2023, we were off on a highest high here. We have it for August and ended up being midway into July. But if you give the 1 year reading about 2 weeks of wiggle room, which you should do, just follow the sequence of events and give it about 2 weeks wiggle room. This is pretty darn accurate. We have the highest high here in August, well, on the edge of August, and we have it here in August. And then really looking at this now, this reading was done back. This reading was done all the way back on January 22nd of 2023. So all the way back then, since that time, I've learned quite a lot about the 1 year spreads, and I can tell you that I see a definitive highest high here in November. We have one on kind of like the cusp of October, November, and my sense is that we actually have it here in November, but it's pretty definitively the same high. So it'll be as high as this high here, or it'll be higher. That's the completed shuffle file. So the reviews, the readings are looking pretty good. Let's get into the remainder of November. So overall trend, brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a decline through multiple support levels. It's crossed with erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, in the midst of which we revisit a crest that was a past opportunity. And what I see taking place is that we have a high early in the month. Looks like we probably have a high somewhere right around the 8th. There's several reasons why my sense is that we have one there. All right, so we have several reasons why there's likely a highest high here. There's correlations about the high and the low here, so it's a little tricky, but my sense is that based on the labradorite stone, we have this cross-reading congruency. In other words, the Queen of Cups is the significator card in the October cluster of the 1 year. The Queen of Cups appears as the high card in the October cluster of the 2023 1 year, so it's a cross-reading congruency, in other words, which gives it a lot of gravitas, that it's there. The other location where it might end up being, it could end up being around the Ace of Wands, but my sense is that the first high is probably here around the 8th, plus or minus a day, but most likely right there on the 8th. The second high is at the end of the month, probably on the 28th. It could be anywhere between the 28th and the 30th, based on some the abundance card, some same reading congruencies between the high correlator and the power card. So there's some indication that we go from a high into a low into a high, and there's some places where the low is a lot more difficult to determine in this reading, but my sense is that it's most likely here on the 22nd, and it's most likely the revisiting of a low. So we may see the low here on the 16th, and I say that because there's no correlation between the low correlator and any of the timeline cards, except for the one over here, which indicates a high. So my sense is that really it's the same kind of behavior. The Lover's card is a move higher and then a move back down. So you could consider it kind of like a thematic kind of congruency, where you have a pop and drop here with the Hermit card. It's a very vague relationship, so it may not hold up. But my sense is that we're going to revisit the low here on the 22nd, and we'll have seen it somewhere else before then, probably there on the 16th or the 17th, maybe even the 20th. But I'm going to circle off So the best trades, there's quite a few trades in here I'm going to get into. Before we do that, guys, just want you guys to know, like, the full prediction, you get that through the website tarotfortraders.com. It's our paid version. It has all of the best trades that we see for the month. You go to our services, SMO to posts on tarotfortraders.com, and you scroll down to monthly subscription, click here, and you can subscribe to any of these ticker or crypto. We do these every month. There's also ones that aren't for monthly subscription, like we do Google and Amazon every month, and there's one-offs that come along as well. The only way that you can access those is through the $250 subscription. So highly recommend that. That's our most popular subscription as it is, and this is a really great way to support the channel. The channel does need your support, so if you like this content and you find it helpful, please support the channel by doing so. It's the best way to help out. Much appreciation to everybody that does it. We know who you are, we know your names, we recognize you on the lives, my friends. The single best trade. All right, so there's a couple ways that you can play what's going on over here. So this peak that we have on, and guys, keep in mind, I'm not right all the time. So what you want to do is you want to look for these, you want to look at the general timing like I'm talking about the 8th right now, so right around the 8th, what you're looking for on a multi-day chart scale is a rally through a diagonal trend line on the 7th, most likely early in the day, big move higher, and then a rally along a diagonal trend line that breaks through horizontal resistance to meet a second resistance and then pulls back to somewhere between those two price levels. After a rally like that, we should see there should be a high like at the end of that, like a highest high. So when you see a highest high, that would be a good indication to open up a short position, which you could close into several different places. Keep in mind it's called short for a reason, so the longer you hold it, the more likely you are for it to be a losing trade. All right, so be quick about it if you're going to do it. It's not for the novice trader to do a short. In any case, you want to hold it, and you can hold it until the following day of the 8th, where we have towards the end of the day a notable move to the downside. It's a mixed day, but we have a notable move to the downside and probably a prominent trough there on the 8th as well. If that doesn't end up being a good opportunity to close out of a short position, the following day looks to be. This is what I like about these when I find a trade like this, is multiple options in case one of our exits ends up being wrong. There's multiple options for exit strategies here. So if the 8th doesn't work, the 9th, there's a notable decline on a multi-day scale on the 9th that offers an opportunity to close a short position, possibly open a long position as well, but I'd say close a short position. And you'd look to do that. You'd look to do that after on a one-day chart. There should be a significant decline that would stand out both on a one-day chart and on a multi-day chart there on the 9th. If that doesn't end up working out, I would say last day to close out would be on the 10th, towards the mid part of the day to early afternoon part of the day. It's a volatile day. I think we start off at a peak on the 10th, and then it's volatile, and we have a sharp drop that stands out in that period of volatility. I paused for a second there because it's possible that high's on the cusp. The highest high that I'm seeing, the first high that I'm seeing, isn't on the 8th but on the 9th. Okay, so this is what I would do. If on the 8th we don't reach a highest high, I would hold off on the trade until the cusp of the 9th, 10th. We're at a peak. If we open up at a highest high on the 9th, 10th, then I would short it there. But if we're at a highest high on the 8th, I would do it there. If not, hold off, wait till the 9th, 10th. If you see a highest high there, that's where I would do it. I would hold it, and then I would look to close it at the end of the day on the 10th with a sharp drop that'll stand out in a period of volatility. The other way you could hold it is probably at the open on the 13th. We would open to the downside pretty notably, and you could close it there, or there's a sharp drop midday on the 13th, but it's kind of tricky because overall the 13th looks to be an unexpected move higher, probably out of a pretty sharp drop over the weekend, and then there's a big move reaching for distant resistance on the 14th, and a near overbought crest on the 15th that we sell off from. So on the 13th, you could also open up a short position in the midst of like this notable move, like unexpected move to the upside. Matter of fact, I'd probably wait until the 14th, midday at a crest. It'll look like there'll be a rally into midday crest that'll kind of peter out, but it'll be a notable move into that resistance where it peters out. I would utilize that as an opportunity to open up a short. You can close that short at the end of the day, the following day on the 15th, and it looks like there would be a couple opportunities to close out on the 15th. But there's a brief peak that's easily missed on the 15th, followed by a decline through multiple supports as well, so look out for that. If you want to be a little bit more risky, I'd say wait until the 22nd to close a short, and that would be because you could, on the 22nd, we're revisiting a support level that was a past opportunity. So I would say whatever the lowest low is moving into the 22nd, we'll probably revisit it on the 22nd. So you could probably close out. It might be revisiting it here on the 20th. It's either here on the 20th or the 16th is the first low. I would say probably close out on the 20th or the 22nd if you have a risk tolerance. But again, the longer you hold a position, the more likely, especially short position, the more likely you are to lose the money. And then if you're looking for a long trade, what I would do is I would open up a long position when revisiting a support level here on the 22nd in the midst of sideways rotation. There should be a sharp drop, and we'll be revisiting a support level on a multi-day scale there at a lowest low. I would open up the long position there. You could close the long position midday on the 27th or on the 29th at a highest, most likely a highest high here on the 29th is my sense. But if you got a good opportunity to close out for a profit on the 27th, take it, because there's a little bit of a mixed behavior. We decline from a rally ends on the midday on the 27th. We decline to the end of the day. There's a day trade there where you close out of that, open a short position and close a short position. And then we have like this pop and drop and then a rally into resistance on the 29th before a decline. So I think that's probably where we revisit the crest here, somewhere between the 28th and the 30th. I think probably the 29th. And so you'd open up the long position again on the 22nd when we're revisiting support on a multi-day scale and close it there. When we have this move through resistance, we stay above it briefly and we break back down through the same price level. And that would be like creating a new high for the month or the same high, revisiting the same high most likely. Following on the sneak preview, it looks like we've got a significant fake out, shakeout. The devil card's hard to determine overall direction, but when we look at it from the December standpoint, it looks pretty mixed throughout the entire month. We have both a prominent peak and a prominent crest, or excuse me, a prominent peak and a prominent trough for the year that'll stand out. And what do I mean by prominent peak and trough? This is a prominent trough, prominent trough, prominent trough, prominent peak, prominent peak, prominent peak, lowest low, highest high, prominent peak, prominent peak. So hopefully that makes sense, my friends. From the standpoint of the 1 year, there aren't really any. Well, actually, the end of the month is a significant trade opportunity. Yes, the end of the month. So what we're looking for, this full card here at the end of the month in November. So around this high, what we'd want to do is open up a short position, which we would be able to close at a low towards the end. Hard to say, somewhere in December. It's hard to say if it's at the end of the month or the beginning of the month, but somewhere in December, there'll be a support level that we rotate sideways along, a support level that's important on a 1 year chart scale. And there'll be an important drop into that support level where we rotate sideways. That would be where you would close out of the short position for like a multi-month swing trade. And that's Tesla for November 2023. My friends, make sure to thank you so much for subscribing for the paid version. It's people like yourself that help the channel actually put out this content. Without you, we would not be able to fulfill the purpose of the channel, which is to really transmute the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill and help good people make good money. All right, guys, I'll see you guys on the next one.